हेलो एवरीवन, वार्म वेलकम टू रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज यूट्यूब चैनल बाय टेस्टबुक। मेरा नाम है माधव अरोड़ा। मैं आप सबका हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं आपके अगले फाइनेंस करंट अफेयर सेशन में, जिसमें हम डिस्कस करेंगे द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट फाइनेंस करंट अफेयर अपडेट्स फ्रॉम द डेट दैट इज 22nd एंड 23rd ऑफ May। आज का जो सेशन है दैट इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। द रीजन बिहाइंड इज इन टुडेज सेशन आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग अराउंड 6 to 7 न्यूज which are important not only with the respect to phase 2 but it is also important with respect to the phase 1 examination as well। और आज की जो डिस्कशन है उसमें एक potential news है which can be asked in the form of descriptive question as well। So before we start the discussion, may I have a reply in the comment section that I'm audible, visible, everything is fine, we are good to go, so that we can begin the discussion without any further delay। And I would request you guys quickly copy the link of this session, share it with your friends so that more and more students they are aware that yes, the session is live। So let's begin the discussion। Today I have changed the pattern of this particular session where first we will be discussing the news for 22nd and 23rd of May, और इन न्यूज को डिस्कस करने के बाद जो रिवीजन वाला पार्ट है दैट आई हैव केप्ट फॉर द एंड ऑफ द सेशन। लास्ट के जो 10 मिनट है उसमें हम रिवाइज करेंगे द क्वेश्चंस बेस्ड ऑन द प्रीवियस सेशन न्यूज। ठीक, तो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड विद द फर्स्ट अपडेट, द फर्स्ट न्यूज। द फर्स्ट न्यूज इज अ मिक्स बैग। It can be fitted in ESI as well as it can be fitted in finance, and the news is basically related to the new development bank। I hope you might have heard about the term that is BRIC, BRIC, then it became as BRICS। I hope you know about this international organization which include B for Brazil, R for Russia, then we have C for China, I for India, and S for South Africa। This is the international organization which was set up by these founding members। I would say BRIC was the founding member, then South Africa added later on। So BRICS nation over the period of time they have set up a development bank। Development bank basically means an institution which provide loan, which provide financial assistance for the sole motive of development। For example, we have a World Bank, specifically I would say World Bank's one of the bank that is IDBRT, that is basically providing you or providing the nation's loan for the motive of development, to fight against poverty, to cope up with the problem of unemployment and whatnot। On the same grounds, BRICS has also set up a bank which is known as NDB, that is New Development Bank, and recently this bank was in news because recently a new country has been included as its member। So my answer to this particular question would be New Development Bank, which was established by BRICS nations, officially included Algeria as its new member, as announced by the NDB president, and the name of the president is Dilma Rousseff। Remember that she is the third president of New Development Bank, and this name is really very important। This can be asked in phase 1 examination। ये तो important है ही है। Name the latest or the newest member of New Development Bank, then your answer to this particular question would be Algeria। इस सारी न्यूज में आपको दो चीजें और याद रखनी है। अगर हम न्यू डेवलपमेंट बैंक की बात करें, who all are the members of New Development Bank? If I talk about the members of New Development Bank, it include undoubtedly we have Brazil, then we have Russia, we have China, we have India, along with this we have South Africa। अब इसके अलावा जो न्यू nations add हुई हैं as a member, in that particular case we have Egypt, we have UAE, then along with UAE we have the latest one that is Algeria, and one more nation we have that is Bangladesh। So these are the member nations of New Development Bank। This is the entire list: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa। These are the members since day one, that is since 2015। लेकिन जो new members बने उसमें Bangladesh became the member in 2021, UAE became the member of New Development Bank in 2021, Egypt became the member in 2023, or Algeria, as I said, it is the newly added member and it has became the member this year itself, that is in 2025 to be very exact। It was given the title of membership on 19th of May 2025। इसमें थोड़ी सी एक टाइमलाइन है, एक स्टोरी है जो आपको पता होनी जरूरी है, so that you can relate the things well while you're making the discussions। So the first thing is, in 2012, for the very first time, there was an idea which was pitched that BRICS should launch its own development bank, and this idea was pitched during the BRICS summit which was held in New Delhi. फिर 2013 में in 2013 finally during the Durban summit in South Africa, it was officially announced that yes, we will be coming up with the development bank, and finally the article of agreement was signed और उसके तहत finally 2015 में new development bank was set up. So when this bank was set up, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa were the members from day one. Later on, Bangladesh, UAE, Egypt, and now Algeria have become the member of the bank that is known as New Development Bank. अगर मैं बात करूं इस New Development Bank की, so this New Development Bank was set up with an authorized capital of $100 billion. Now the question over here is, so what do you understand by the word authorized capital? Guys, authorized capital is a very general term which is used for companies as well as the corporates. We use this term, that is authorized capital, which means the total amount which is going to be invested in a company in its total timeline, in its total lifetime, that is known as authorized capital. और अगर हम authorized capital की बात करें, so the authorized capital announced for New Development Bank was $100 billion, और वो जो $100 billion की authorized capital थी, उसमें से $50 billion have been subscribed. This $50 billion have been subscribed by its core members, by its primary members, जहाँ पे Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they all have subscribed to the same value, that is $10 billion, जिसकी वजह से they all have the same voting rights. And later on the $40 billion which is the callable capital, उसके लिए we are appointing or we are coming up with different members over the period of time. So this is what I was talking about. Sir, if we talk about the capital, so the capital is $100 billion. The total capital is $100 billion, for which $10 billion each member, Brazil, Russia, India, China as well as South Africa. लेकिन जो नए members add हुए हैं उनके लिए जो capital value है that is different, and depending upon the capital value, depending upon their investment, they will be having the voting rights, as we see for IMF, as we see for World Bank, because the members, they possess the voting right depending upon the investment they are making into the particular development bank. Is this point clear, guys? Is this point clear? If it is clear till this point, just give me yes sir, so that we can conclude the discussion. So the question was very easy, or the news is very easy, that New Development Bank has witnessed an entry of a new member, and the new member is Algeria. And along with that, you need to remember one more point, that is the shareholding. If I talk about the authorized capital value is $100 billion, out of which $50 billion is already subscribed by the primary members, and rest of the members, they have been announced with the different values of the capital which they are investing, and on the basis of their investment, they are seeking or they are having the voting rights. Along with that, you need to remember, very important, the first president of NDB was none other than an Indian. The name was KV Kamath. He has served as the president of New Development Bank from 2015 to 2020. In 2022, New Development Bank has announced its Indian regional office, and this Indian regional office is located in Gift City, that is Gujarat. International Finance Tech City, which is in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. Remember the name of the president of NDB, and its headquarter is none other than in Shanghai, China. ठीक है जी, तो ये सारी की सारी जो न्यूज है, इसमें एक पॉइंट जो मैंने आपके साथ डिस्कस किया, इट इज रियली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इट हैज अ पोटेंशियल दैट अ डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर डिस्कशन इन फेज 1 स्पेशली. ठीक है, क्लियर हो गया. चल, मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज this was the point which I was referring to, $100 billion, and last I would like to refer over here is that till now, since 2015, NDB is providing loan, or NDB is providing development funds. Till now, NDB has funded 120 projects and total funded value is around $40 billion. तो भैया 120 प्रोजेक्ट को लगभग आप कह सकते हैं कि NDB ने फंड किया है, and the total amount of funding which has been done by NDB is around $40 billion, and especially this funding, these, I would say, the projects, they are basically related to the clean energy, transport infrastructure, as well as the digital development, which are the key areas, which are the limelight areas of the current scenario, which are boosting up the economy on regular basis. समझ आया? Shall we move ahead? Chalo, let's move on to the next question. Or next question is the most important question, which has a probability that it can even be asked in the form of descriptive format. तो question क्या है, वो news क्या है, उस पे बात करते हैं. The question says RBI has revised the rules for investment in alternative investment funds. What is this news all about? क्या है ये सारी बात करते हैं. Please pay attention, guys. I'm pretty sure that you are going to enjoy this. First of all, the first point which has been mentioned by RBI in this particular news is alternative investment fund. Now the question is, so what do you understand by the word alternative investment fund? Before I move on to the term alternative investment fund, you must have heard about a term that is mutual fund. Mutual fund का मतलब क्या? So mutual fund basically means when individuals like you and me, we pool our funds, and that pooled amount with the help of the trust, with the help of the asset management company, this pooled amount is invested, and the logic behind investment is, or the target behind investment is, to maximize the profit of the investors, minimize the loss, and even this investment is done in a very diversified manner. So this is known as mutual fund. But what is alternate investment fund or alternative investment fund? Alternative investment fund is again a pooled fund. It's again a pooled fund where funds are pooled, but funds are not pooled by individuals like you and me. Here the funds are pooled by high net worth individuals. Funds are pooled by financial institutions like banks. Funds are pooled by financial institutions like insurance companies, or any other institute can also be allowed to participate in the form of pooling of the funds. Now, the amount which is pooled, this amount is invested not only in the public companies, it is not only invested in the public companies, unlike mutual funds where the investment is done only and only in the public companies through the share market, and investment is done either in the equity or in the debt instruments. But in case of alternative investment funds, investment can be done even in the startups. Investment can be done even in the startups. Investment can be done even in the private companies. I hope you understand what I mean with the term private company. Private company, I'm not focusing private company term with respect to the ownership. I'm saying private company in terms of private limited company. Private limited company means a company which has minimum 2 members, 2 shareholders, and maximum it can go up till 200 as per the Companies Act. This company cannot issue its shares openly to the public. Public cannot invest in this company openly through the stock exchange or through the other mediums. So that kind of company is known as private company, and generally in case of the investment which is done in a private company, that is done through private placements. Even you can invest in the infrastructure funds, or you can invest in the infrastructure fund company. So these are the areas where the investment can be done. So this is known as alternative investment fund. Now, why RBI has come up in this picture? Sir, RBI has come up in this picture because of the investors. If one of the investor can be a bank and RBI is the regulator of the bank, that is the reason RBI can come up with certain rules, certain regulations, certain master directions with respect to this. Similarly, not only RBI, this entire alternative investment fund is regulated by SEBI. So till now, SEBI has given notification, SEBI has given the master direction on alternative investment funds, and even RBI has given the master direction on alternative investment fund. But before I discuss what kind of master direction has been given by RBI, what targets have been set by RBI, before I dive deep into it, I'll quickly give you an overview what actually alternative investment fund is. So I have come up with the entire discussion on this, which I have just explained you. I have written it in on this PDF so that you can read it once you download this PDF from my Telegram channel. So I have explained what is alternative investment fund. So these are the unique investment vehicles that are privately pooled. Very important. That are privately pooled and invested in alternative asset classes such as venture capital, private equity, hedge funds, commodities, real estate, but they are different from the other investment options like mutual funds. So it is different from the other investment options like mutual fund. That is what you need to remember. Got it? It is of three categories. First category is the investment which is done, whole and sole investment is done in the startups or in the companies which have just started their operation or they are witnessing high growth rate. So that kind of investment include alternative investment funds like venture capital fund, or it can include angel funds, it can include social venture funds. Second category includes these types of funds, they invest in equity or debt of what sort of unlisted companies that are in mid or later stage of growth, that is known as private equity, or it is invested in the companies which are about to go public, that is pre-IPO investment, funds of funds, that is category 2. Category 3 is bit complex. Basically, in case of category 3, the investment is done. In case of category 3, the investment is done in the shares of the listed company. Investment is done in the shares of the listed company, and these alternative strategy funds, they can be for any period, but that means that there is a combination of long term as well as short term. It includes private investment in public equity. Very important. It includes private investment in public equity fund. It includes hedge funds. These all are the part of category 3. So you can just go through with category 1, category 2, category 3. These are the three categories under alternative investment funds. Now, the next point is, sir, you said that you and me, we cannot invest in alternative investment funds, and you use a word that these funds are basically for high net worth individuals. Why you have used that statement? I have an answer to this. Whenever we talk about alternative investment fund, there is a certain criteria. If you want to invest in alternative investment fund, you need to fulfill that particular criteria. The criteria says either you are resident of India, or you are non-resident Indian, or you are a foreign national, you are allowed to invest. Second is minimum investment. Very important. Minimum investment limit is 1 crore for investors. Minimum investment limit is 1 crore for investor, whereas the minimum investment amount for the directors, employees, or the fund managers of that alternative investment funds would be 25 lakhs. But in general, if you want to invest in alternative investment funds, your minimum investment is going to be 1 crore. In case of alternate investment fund, it comes with a minimum lock-in period of 3 years. It comes in general, it comes with a minimum lock-in period of 3 years. And there is one more condition. The number of investors in every scheme is restricted to 1,000. There should not be more than 1,000 investors in an alternative investment fund scheme. And in case of angel fund उन funds को कहा जाता है जो invest करते हैं in a company at a very early stage. For example, I have an idea that I want to produce a motorbike which is going to run on water. That is just the idea I have. But the moment I come up or I share this idea all over the sector and I seek for investment, no one is ready to invest because they don't trust my idea. They only say one thing, sir, prototype ले आओ, मतलब सैंपल बना के ले आओ, हमारे सामने बाइक चला के दिखा दो, पानी पे हम मान जाएंगे. अब इस सिचुएशन में I need funds so that I can construct that prototype, and the one who will trust me and invest in my company, in my organization, so that I can use that fund to develop that prototype will be termed as angel investor. Angel का मतलब हम कहते हैं ना, angel is a word related to, आप कहें खुदा, आप कहें भगवान जिसने आपकी मदद की, तो उसी तरह से angel investors उन्हीं investors को कहा जाता है, those who are the early investors in a company. So in case of angel investment, in case of angel investor funds, the maximum number of investors can be 49. What are the benefits? So pehla, high return potential hai in case of AIFs, low volatility in case of AIFs, and you get a chance to diversify your investment rather than investing only and only in the companies which are registered, which are public companies. With the help of AIFs, you get a chance to invest in startups, you get a chance to invest in private companies, you get a chance to invest in those companies which are about to go public. So this gives you the actual diversification, which helps you to grow, and it gives you a great potential to earn high profit or high returns on your investment. Got it, guys? Is it clear? If it is clear, just give me yes sir, so that we can move ahead. Now I will be discussing the actual news. What the actual news is, उस news पे jump करते हैं. Please pay attention. The actual news says that RBI has come up with certain norms. RBI has come up with certain norms related to the investment done by the bank, in the alternative investment funds. अब क्वेश्चन है कि सर ये सारी स्टोरी क्यों आई, इस पे क्यों प्रॉब्लम्स आई, क्यों आरबीआई के ऊपर ये कंडीशंस आई, उन सारी चीजों को बात करते हैं. सुनना ध्यान से. हुआ क्या कि सर एक बैंक है, दिस बैंक हैज गिवन अ लोन टू अ कंपनी नेम्ड एक्स. द बैंक हैज गिवन लोन टू अ कंपनी named X. This company has borrowed a loan from bank, and the company is obviously paying the lending rates or the EMI to the bank. Unfortunately, the loan given by the company is on the verge to be declared as NPA. In that particular case, if bank is providing new loan to X, so that X can pay back the previous loan, and the previous loan is not declared as NPA, that kind of process, that kind of initiative taken by the bank is known as what? So this is known as evergreening of loan. और ये जो evergreening of loan है, it was creating very, I would say, issues related to the banking sector in the past. और इन्हीं सारे issues को देखते हुए RBI ने कुछ norms introduce की with respect to alternative investment funds. Now you must be wondering कि सर alternative investment fund का evergreening of loan से क्या लेना देना. अब evergreening of loan का concept ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड में कैसे आएगा या कैसे इन्वॉल्व होगा, वो मैं आपको समझाता हूं, ध्यान से समझना. मान लो अगर मैं बात करूं सेम एग्जांपल की, और उस सेम एग्जांपल में if I'm saying that a bank has given a loan to a company X, and that company is repaying the loan in the form of EMIs. In a similar manner, bank is not only providing loan in order to earn profit, bank also invests the funds in equities, in debt instruments in order to earn return. Similarly, bank also invests the funds in the alternative investment funds. And these alternative investment funds, let's say, if the same alternative investment fund in which bank has invested the fund, if that alternative investment fund is investing back in this company X, is known as downstream investment. अब इस सिचुएशन में आरबीआई ने दिमाग चलाया. आरबीआई ने क्या दिमाग चलाया? आरबीआई ने कहा कि सर एक प्रॉब्लम हो रही है. वो प्रॉब्लम क्या है? वो प्रॉब्लम ये है कि बैंक्स, they have provided loan to company X, that loan is on the verge to be declared as NPA. So rather than giving new loan directly to the company X, which can be easily identified by RBI, what bank can do? So bank can invest the funds in the alternative investment fund, and this alternative investment fund will invest in company X So this kind of investment is again, this kind of flow of funds is again a process which is done by bank फॉर एवरग्रीनिंग ऑफ लोन. तो बैंक क्या चाह रहा है? बैंक इज जस्ट ट्राइंग कि बैंक का जो लोन है वो एनपीए डिक्लेयर ना हो, क्योंकि अगर वो एनपीए डिक्लेयर हुआ इट विल हैव अ नेगेटिव इंपैक्ट ऑन द balance sheet of the bank, it will have a negative impact on the reputation of the bank, it will have a negative impact on the profit estimates of the bank. So in that particular case, it's better the loan should not be declared as NPA, and bank is providing new funds, new investment, new funding to the company X rather than giving it directly. This investment is done through AIF, which we call it as downstream investment, which we call it as downstream investment. समझ आई ये बात? Is this point clear? If this point is clear, just give me yes, sir. If this point is clear, just give me yes, sir. I'm waiting, guys. Okay. जब RBI ने इस चीज को आइडेंटिफाई किया, then RBI came up with certain conditions. What were the conditions? पहली कंडीशन RBI ने कही, पहली कंडीशन आरबीआई ने क्या कहा? पहली कंडीशन आरबीआई ने कहा बैंक विल नॉट इन्वेस्ट इन दोज ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड्स, बैंक विल नॉट इन्वेस्ट इन दोज ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड्स विच आर इन्वॉल्व इन डाउनस्ट्रीम इन्वेस्टमेंट, विच आर इन्वॉल्व इन डाउनस्ट्रीम इन्वेस्टमेंट. मतलब ये कि आप उस ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड को लोन नहीं दे सकते, आप उस ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड में इन्वेस्ट नहीं कर सकते, which is further investing the funds in the debtor company. Debtor company means the company which has borrowed loan from the bank in last 12 years. Sorry, in last 12 months. So debtor company is basically, in our example, X is a debtor company जिसको बैंक ने लोन दिया. So bank is not allowed to invest in the alternative investment fund which is investing in a debtor company, which is investing in a debtor company of the bank. पहली कंडीशन ये. दूसरी कंडीशन, अगर आपने इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, if you have invested, then we are giving you 30 days time. 30 days के अंदर अंदर आप इसकी क्या करो? लिक्विडिटी करो. 30 डेज के अंदर अंदर आप इसकी क्या करो? लिक्विडिटी करो. लिक्विडिटी का मतलब इसे भैया अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट को वापस निकालो, अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट को वहां से निकाल लो. 30 दिन का टाइम है. अब यहां पे एक कंडीशन और आई कि अगर लिक्विडिटी पॉसिबल नहीं है, अगर आप लिक्विड नहीं कर सकते, दैट मींस यू आर नॉट इन अ पोजीशन टू डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट हो ही नहीं पा रहा, डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट में बहुत ज्यादा लॉस हो रहा है या डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट का स्कोप ही नहीं है, तो उस केस में क्या होगा सर? उस केस में बैंक ये मान के चले कि जो पैसा बैंक ने ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड में इन्वेस्ट किया, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी डिक्लेयर्ड एज एनपीए, एंड फॉर दैट बैंक शुड मेंटेन 100% ऑफ प्रोविजनिंग. बैंक शुड मेंटेन 100% ऑफ प्रोविजनिंग. याद है आपको प्रोविजनिंग इज द रिजर्व्स व्हिच आर मेंटेन्ड बाय बैंक इन ऑर्डर टू काउंटर द एनपीए लॉसेस. इज इट क्लियर एवरीवन? Gitanjali, banks, they basically use these alternative investment funds in order to diversify their investment. देखो बैंक ने पैसा डिपॉजिट लिया. Now against that deposit, bank is liable to pay the rate of interest to the depositor. But along with that, bank is trying to earn profit. In order to earn profit, bank will not only provide that deposit in the form of loan alone. Bank will use those funds and invest them in the share market, or invest them in the equity instruments or in the debt instruments, or they may even invest their funds through the alternative investment funds which we are talking over here. So अगर आप genuinely alternative investment कर रहे हैं, it's okay. RBI has no problem with it, but RBI को problem कब हुई? When RBI realized that from these alternative investment funds, the funds were reinvested. The funds were reinvested in the debtor company of the bank. Debtor company of the bank means the company in which bank has already given a loan in last 12 months. So that is not correct because it is an attempt of evergreening of loan. So if it is an attempt of evergreening of loan, आरबीआई ने कहा कि भैया अलाउड नहीं है, अगर इन्वेस्ट कर चुके हो 30 डेज में लिक्विडेट कर लो, और अगर लिक्विडेट नहीं कर पा रहे, और अगर लिक्विडेट नहीं कर पा रहे तो उस केस में क्या करो सर, उस केस में 100% प्रोविजनिंग मेंटेन करो। अगर लिक्विडेट नहीं कर पा रहे उस केस में 100% प्रोविजनिंग मेंटेन करो। समझ आया ये पॉइंट? समझ आया ये पॉइंट? क्लियर है? ठीक है, एक बार पढ़ लेते हैं ये सारी चीजें जो मैंने आपको लिख के दी हैं, दे आर रिटन ऑन द पीडीएफ ऑल्सो, सो नथिंग टू वरी। एक बार पढ़ लेते हैं, थिंग्स विल बी मोर क्लियर टू यू, प्लीज पे अटेंशन। तो पहले ये है आपकी वो कंडीशन जो मैंने अभी आपके साथ डिस्कस की, बट दिस इज द ओल्डर कंडीशन, दिस इज द ओल्डर कंडीशन। बट अगर ओल्डर कंडीशन क्लियर होंगी तभी आपको नई कंडीशन समझ आएंगी। तो कंडीशंस क्या कहती है? पहला पॉइंट, regulated entity shall not make investment in any scheme of alternative investment fund which has downstream investment either directly or indirectly in the debtor company of regulated entity. Directly or indirectly in the debtor company of the regulated entity. Debtor company क्या है? सर debtor company का मतलब है वो कंपनी जिसको regulated entity ने लोन दिया, which means regulated entity currently or previously had given loan or investment exposure any time preceding the 12 months. तो अगर आपने लोन दिया या उसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट की और वो लोन या इन्वेस्टमेंट पिछले 12 महीनों में की गई है तो उस केस में that will be termed as debtor company. तो in that particular case you are not allowed to invest in that alternative investment fund which is investing the funds in your debtor company. समझ आया ये पॉइंट? इज दिस पॉइंट क्लियर नाउ? गीतांजलि, अभिनव एंड किसी और ने कहा था रिपीट कर दो, कामले। अगर ये पॉइंट क्लियर हुआ तो गिव मी यस सर। दूसरा पॉइंट क्या कहता है? दूसरा पॉइंट कहता है इफ एन ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड स्कीम इन विच रेगुलेटेड एंटिटी इज ऑलरेडी एन इन्वेस्टर, अगर आप ऑलरेडी इन्वेस्टर है और वो डाउनस्ट्रीम इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रही है तो उस केस में व्हाट यू डू, यू लिक्विडेट। उस केस में व्हाट यू डू, यू लिक्विडेट योर इन्वेस्टमेंट, फ्रॉम ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड्स इन 30 डेज, विद इन 30 डेज। समझ आया ये पॉइंट? ये देखो पहला क्या था, अगर कोई ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड है विच इज इन्वेस्टिंग, विच इज मेकिंग अ डाउनस्ट्रीम इन्वेस्टमेंट। डाउनस्ट्रीम इन्वेस्टमेंट का मतलब क्या होता है सर? डाउनस्ट्रीम इन्वेस्टमेंट इज द टाइप ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट विच इज डिस्कस्ड विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द बैंक, in which the alternative investment fund is investing the funds in the debtor company of the bank, और अगर बैंक ने इस alternative investment fund में इन्वेस्ट किया and that alternative investment fund is investing in the debtor company, that type of investment will be termed as downstream investment. बोलो यार, समझ आया? Is it clear now? समझ आया? ठीक है। दूसरा पॉइंट क्या कहता है भैया, अगर आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट कर भी दी तो आपको 30 डेज का टाइम दे रहे, लिक्विडेट कर लो। अगर आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट कर भी दी, इफ यू आर ऑलरेडी द पार्ट ऑफ द इन्वेस्टर, if there is a downstream condition, then we are giving you a timeline of 30 days, and in those 30 days you have to liquidate your investment. ठीक है जी? अब अगर आप अपनी इन्वेस्टमेंट को लिक्विडेट नहीं कर पा रहे, देन इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस यू शुड मेंटेन अ प्रोविजनिंग ऑफ व्हाट वैल्यू, यू शुड मेक अ प्रोविजनिंग ऑफ 100% वैल्यू। जो प्रोविजनिंग हम करते हैं एनपीए के लिए, व्हेन इट इज सब स्टैंडर्ड एसेट, प्रोविजनिंग इज 1 to 5%. Then if it is substandard asset, provisioning is 15 or 25%. When it is doubtful asset, it is 25, 40 or even 100%. In case of loss asset, provisioning is 100%. That is the same provisioning I'm talking about. So if you have invested as a bank, you have invested in an alternative investment fund, and that alternative investment fund is investing in the debtor company, which is called as downstream investment, then in that particular case, whatsoever investment you have done in the alternative investment fund, against that investment, you have to maintain 100% provisioning. You have to make 100% provisioning. बोलो क्लियर है? बोलो क्लियर है? Is this point clear? Is this point clear? If it is clear, just give me yes, sir. If it is clear, just give me yes, sir. तो ये पुरानी बातें हैं, ये आज की बातें नहीं है, पुरानी बातें 2023, 2024, ये तब की बात है। अब आरबीआई ने क्या कहा कि ये जो कंडीशंस हमने बनाई, इन कंडीशंस की वजह से आरबीआई ने कहा कि इन कंडीशंस की वजह से काफी सुधार हुआ, इन कंडीशंस की वजह से काफी सुधार हुआ। सो रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया ने कहा ये 2023 की जो डायरेक्शन थी सर, जो अभी आपने समझाई है, उसकी वजह से जो ऑब्जेक्टिव था एड्रेस करने का, कंसर्न्स रिलेटेड टू एवरग्रीनिंग थ्रू दिस रूट, it has observed the measures taken by Reserve Bank have brought financial discipline among the regulated entities। तो उन्होंने कहा कि सर ये जो हमने इनिशिएटिव लिया इससे अच्छा हुआ, जो डिसिप्लिन की हमें रिक्वायरमेंट थी, that discipline has been achieved। इसके साथ साथ सेबी भी पिक्चर में आया और सेबी ने भी जो रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस बनाए थे फॉर ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड्स, दे हैव आल्सो हेल्प्ड अ लॉट to improve the problem of evergreening of loan, तो अब आरबीआई ने क्या कहा, जब evergreening of loan की problem is sorting out over the period of time, or it is almost sorted out over the period of time, then we would like to change the rules and regulations for a bank to invest in alternative investment fund. And those rules and regulations which we are going to change, we are coming up with a draft. We ask the public, give your feedback, and then this draft will be, if no major feedback is given, then this draft will be implemented as a permanent guideline. समझ आई ये बात? उन्होंने कहा कि सर पहले एवरग्रीनिंग की प्रॉब्लम हुई, एवरग्रीनिंग की प्रॉब्लम के बाद ये कंडीशंस लगाई गई, इन कंडीशंस के लगाने के बाद ये प्रॉब्लम रिजॉल्व हुई, लेकिन अब we need a permanent solution. And what is that permanent solution? अब उस permanent solution की अगर मैं बात करूं, that permanent solution is, please pay attention, easy है, समझ आ जाएगा. Sir, if you are talking about a bank, now if this bank wants to invest in the alternative investment fund scheme, अभी तक बोरोवर नहीं आया, डेटर कंपनी नहीं आई, नथिंग एवरग्रीनिंग, नथिंग, कुछ नहीं है ऐसा। सिंपल सी बात है, एक बैंक है, वो इन्वेस्ट करना चाहता है इन ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड स्कीम। इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस, in this alternative investment fund scheme, let's say this alternative investment fund scheme is for edtechs. That means this investment is going to be done in edtechs only. So I'm talking about one scheme. So this alternative investment fund scheme, which is going to invest the funds only and only in edtech, is of value, let's say 1 CR. It is of value, let's say 1 CR. वैसे 1 CR will not be a practically correct फॉर्मेट। तो अगर मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड स्कीम है और वो ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड स्कीम की जो वैल्यू है दैट इज 1000 करोड़, दैट मींस द टोटल इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड स्कीम इज 1000 करोड़ रुपीज। इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस, व्हाट इज द लिमिट फॉर अ बैंक? सो लिमिट फॉर अ बैंक इज अप टू 10%। व्हाट इज द लिमिट फॉर अ बैंक? दैट इज अप टू 10%। अब अगर मैं बात करूं, ये तो एक बैंक है, दिस इज ओनली वन बैंक। इफ आई से Bank 2, Bank 3, Bank 4, which means not only if I talk about only one regulated entity, the limit for one regulated entity or a bank to invest in alternative investment fund scheme is up to 10% of the total scheme value, and the total investment which can be done by all the regulated entities, total investment which can be done by all the regulated entities collectively, that is up to 15%. That is what? So that is up to 15%। यानी यहां पर एक बैंक इन्वेस्ट कर सकता है 100 करोड़ और सारे बैंक मिलकर कितना इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं सर? 150 करोड़। इससे ज्यादा अलाउड नहीं है, 150 करोड़ इससे ज्यादा अलाउड नहीं है। I'll make you read this point ताकि ये पॉइंट क्लियर हो जाए। So what does this point says? This point says a single regulated entity contribution to any alternative investment fund scheme shall be capped 10% of its corpus. Shall be capped 10% of its corpus, or collectively a ceiling of 15% shall apply for the investment of all the regulated entities in that particular alternative investment fund scheme. समझ आई ये बात? क्या कह रहा है ये कह रहा है कि सर किसी एक बैंक की जो इन्वेस्टमेंट लिमिट है एक पर्टिकुलर ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड स्कीम में जो कि 1000 करोड़ की है, दैट इज अप टू 10%, और सबकी मिलाकर जो लिमिट है दैट इज कितनी है, दैट इज 15%. ये 10% और 15% का क्राइटेरिया यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. दिस 10% एंड 15% क्राइटेरिया यू हैव टू रिमेंबर, दैट हैज बीन मेंशन्ड. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया. अब अगला पॉइंट क्या आता है? अगला पॉइंट आता है कि सर अगर किसी भी एक रेगुलेटेड एंटिटी ने इन्वेस्टमेंट की है इन एन ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड स्कीम अप टू 5%, then there is no worry, there is no point to discuss. If there is a regulated entity and this regulated entity has invested up to 5% of the corpus value, then there is nothing to worry. Nothing to worry in the sense कि सर भले ये ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड स्कीम फर्दर इन्वेस्टमेंट करे आपकी डेटर कंपनी में, आपके बैंक की डेटर कंपनी में, बट अगर आपके बैंक की इन्वेस्टमेंट अप टू 5% है देन देयर इज नथिंग टू वरी. अगर आपके बैंक की इन्वेस्टमेंट अप टू 5% है देन देयर इज नथिंग टू वरी. समझ आई ये बात? ये पॉइंट बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है, पढ़ाऊं, सुनना जरा. ये पॉइंट क्या कहता है? ये कहता है इन्वेस्टमेंट बाय अ रेगुलेटेड एंटिटी up to 5% of the corpus of alternative investment fund scheme shall be allowed without any restriction. कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है, कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है. अगर आपकी इन्वेस्टमेंट अप टू 5% है उस कॉर्पस वैल्यू की, और वो ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड स्कीम भले इन्वॉल्व है इन डाउनस्ट्रीम, whether it is involved in downstream, then also there is no point to worry. Alternative डाउनस्ट्रीम में इन्वॉल्व है तो यहां पे मैं क्या कहूंगा? नो वरीज. यहां पे मैं क्या कहूंगा? नो वरीज. लेकिन अगर इन्वेस्टमेंट जो है डन बाय द रेगुलेटेड एंटिटी is greater than 5%, it is greater than 5% of what? Sir, of the scheme value. 5% of what? So 5% of the scheme value. अगर वो 5% of the scheme value से ज्यादा है, in that particular case, this alternative investment fund scheme is involved in downstream. एक तो 5% है, ऊपर से alternative investment fund scheme जो है वो downstream में involved है. Alternative investment fund scheme जो है वो downstream में involved है, तो उस केस में बैंक क्या करेगा? So bank will maintain 100% of provisioning. Bank will maintain 100% of provisioning. समझ आई ये बात? Bank will maintain 100% of provisioning. I'll make you read. If the investment by any regulated entity exceed 5% of the corpus value of the alternative investment fund scheme, and if the scheme has downstream debt investment in a debtor company of the regulated entity, then in that particular case, regulated entity shall be required to make 100% of the provisioning. Shall be required to make 100% of the provisioning. This is the point which you need to remember. समझ आ गई बात? क्लियर हो गया? कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लो, otherwise I'll repeat the entire story again. If you have any doubt, you may ask please. Otherwise, we'll move ahead. But if you want me, I can repeat the entire story again if required. समझ आ गई बात? Is this point clear? Abhinav, I have made this point very clear in the starting that I am talking about alternative investment funds. I'm talking about alternative investment funds. This condition is applicable on alternative investment funds. और उसमें भी अगर आपकी इन्वेस्टमेंट लिमिट की बात करें, for a single regulated entity, investment limit is up to 10% of the scheme value. For combined limit is up to 15% of the scheme value. If regulated entity is investing up to 5%, no restriction. If regulated entity is investing more than 5% and downstream investment is involved, then in that particular case, you are liable to maintain 100% of provisioning. Yes, 1 to 5%, that is what I'm trying to say. Is it clear now? Is it clear? Okay. चलो, I'll make this point very. देखो यार, यहाँ पे clearly लिखा है exceeds 5%, यानी कि equal to will come under the category of no restriction. Equal to will come under the category of no restriction. ठीक, चलो, let's discuss this point once again so that this is clear to you, so that it is clear to you. Please pay attention, guys. ध्यान से सुनना. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about a bank, a regulated entity. ठीक? This regulated entity, if wish to invest in an alternative investment fund, this alternative investment fund is having various schemes, scheme 1, scheme 2, scheme 3, whatsoever. Scheme 1 is of corpus value, let's say 2000 crore rupees. Let's say 2000 crore rupees. Then in that particular case, the limit on bank investment, single regulated entity investment, is up to 10% of the corpus. Up to 10% of the corpus. अगर मैं corpus की बात करूं, scheme value का total क्या है? That is 2000 crores. उसका 10% कितना होगा? 200 crores. This bank, any single entity can invest up to. Any single entity can invest up to 200 crores only. Any single regulated entity can invest up to 200 crores only. But if I say all the regulated entities, they want to invest in this particular scheme, then for that particular scheme, combined investment, total regulated entities, all the regulated entities, including this bank as well, the combined limit is up to 15%, which is going to be 300 crores as per the example. Which is going to be 300 crores as per the example. ठीक है जी, clear हो गया? I hope it's clear. I hope it's clear. Why 30 day Lakshmi? 30 days वाला तो पुराना पार्ट था ना, वो तो पुरानी कंडीशन थी. पुरानी कंडीशन तो ये कहती थी कि इन्वेस्ट ही मत करो. अब तो मैं आपको इन्वेस्ट करने दे रहा हूं. पुरानी कंडीशन कह रही थी या तो इन्वेस्ट मत करो, इन्वेस्ट किया है तो 30 डेज में लिक्विडेट करो, और अगर लिक्विडेट नहीं कर सकते तो 100% प्रोविजनिंग करो. यहां पे क्या कहा जा रहा है? इन्वेस्ट करो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. अगर इन्वेस्टमेंट 5% से नीचे है तो भी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन अगर इन्वेस्टमेंट 5% से ऊपर है, देन ओनली योर रिजर्व्स और योर प्रोविजनिंग इज गोइंग टू बी 100%. देन योर प्रोविजनिंग इज गोइंग टू बी 100%. ठीक है, यहां तक क्लियर हो गया? एक एग्जांपल और लेता हूं, बाकी के 2 पॉइंट समझाता हूं. बाकी के 2 पॉइंट्स क्या कहते हैं कि सर एक बैंक है, ठीक है, ध्यान से सुनना. This bank has given loan to a company and this company is known as debtor company. Debtor company किसके कॉन्टेक्स्ट में? बैंक के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में. अब इस बैंक को अगर इन्वेस्ट करना है in an alternative investment fund scheme, I'm talking about that alternative investment fund scheme which is involved in downstreaming. तो ये जो alternative investment fund scheme है वो क्या कर रही है? वो downstream investment कर रही है. और अगर वो डाउनस्ट्रीम इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रही है, उस केस में क्या सर? उस केस में 2 कंडीशंस हैं. पहली कंडीशन, अप टू 5%. अप टू 5%. मान लो ये जो स्कीम वैल्यू है विच इज बीइंग इन्वेस्टेड, ये जो स्कीम वैल्यू है विच इज बीइंग इन्वेस्टेड, इट इज 2000 करोड़. एंड आउट ऑफ दिस 2000 करोड़, आउट ऑफ दिस 2000 करोड़, let's say 500 crores is invested in downstream. 500 करोड़ की डाउनस्ट्रीमिंग इन्वेस्टमेंट है. एक बार सुन लो, ठीक है. अब यहां पर आपके पास जो लिमिट हो गई वो कितनी हो गई सर? द लिमिट इज अप टू 5%. द लिमिट इज अप टू 5% ऑफ द कॉर्पस वैल्यू. अप टू 5% ऑफ द कॉर्पस वैल्यू का मतलब है आपकी जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है दैट इज गोइंग टू बी व्हाट सर? दैट इज गोइंग टू बी 100 करोड़. यू can invest up to 100 crores and no one is going to question you, no one is going to ask you anything. No one is going to question you, no one is going to ask you anything. इसमें मैं कहूंगा no question asked. Enjoy. No question asked, you can enjoy. No one is going to stop you. ठीक है. अब अगर आपने अपनी इन्वेस्टमेंट if you are increasing your investment, if you are increasing your investment, इस स्कीम में you have increased your investment above 5% and obviously you cannot go above 10%. वो कंडीशन तो पहले से आरबीआई ने डिफाइन कर दी. Let's suppose you are going maximum. Let's suppose you are going maximum 10% जो कि allowed है to a single regulated entity, that is 200 crores. So in that particular case, if you are investing 200 crore rupees, then you have to maintain 100% of provisioning. लेकिन वो 100% of provisioning you won't be making of this 200 crores. You won't be making of this 200 crore. क्यों? आपने total corpus value का कितना परसेंट इन्वेस्ट किया है? 10%. टोटल कॉर्पस का कितना इन्वेस्ट किया? 10%. सो इस 500 करोड़ रुपए, जो 500 करोड़ रुपए डेटर कंपनी के पास गए हैं, उसमें आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट भी कितना होगा? अगर टोटल में आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट 10% है, तो इन दिस 500 करोड़ 2000 में से आई एम सेइंग 1500 करोड़, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग दैट 1500 करोड़ इज इन्वेस्टेड इन शेयर मार्केट. आई एम जस्ट टेकिंग एन एग्जांपल. ठीक है, ये इन्वेस्ट हो गया शेयर मार्केट में. बाकी का जो 500 करोड़ है वो क्या हुआ? डाउनस्ट्रीम हुआ. उस डाउनस्ट्रीम में आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट कितना? सर आपका टोटल का इन्वेस्टमेंट कितना है? 10%. तो यहां भी आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट कितना होगा? 10%, यानी 50 करोड़. बैंक का इन्वेस्टमेंट कितना है? दैट इज 50 करोड़. सो बैंक विल बी मेंटेनिंग 100% प्रोविजनिंग ऑफ इट्स एक्सपोजर. तो बैंक को एक्चुअल में जो रिस्क है वो रिस्क पूरे 200 करोड़ का नहीं है, क्योंकि 200 करोड़ में से 150 करोड़ तो बैंक का शेयर मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट हुआ है. सिर्फ 50 करोड़ है जो इन्वेस्ट हुआ है किसमें? डाउनस्ट्रीम में. उस 50 करोड़ के लिए एक्सपोजर 100% मानकर आपको क्या रखना होगा? प्रोविजनिंग रखनी होगी. ठीक है जी, अब क्लियर हो गया? इज दिस पॉइंट क्लियर? 5% तक नो क्वेश्चन आस्क्ड, एंजॉय. अबव 5%, in that particular case limit is 10%. let's say you are going for maximum 10. इस 2000 में से पूरी की पूरी 2000 तो एक डेटर को जाएगी नहीं. they will be investing in different areas. so ये जो 2000 करोड़ है उसमें कुछ हिस्सा गया शेयर मार्केट में, बाकी हिस्सा जो इन्वेस्ट हो रहा है डेटर कंपनी में, उस डेटर कंपनी के इन्वेस्टमेंट में बैंक का जो शेयर है, उस शेयर का बैंक क्या मेंटेन करेगा? 100% प्रोविजन. और वो 100% प्रोविजन आपको रखनी होगी. दैट इज व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से. इज दिस पॉइंट क्लियर? नहीं समझ आया तो ये लाइन दोबारा पढ़ो. If the investment by any regulated entity exceeds 5% of the corpus of the scheme, and if the scheme has a downstream debt investment in a debtor company of the regulated entity, then the regulated entity shall be required to make 100% provision to the extent of its प्रोपोर्शनेट एक्सपोजर. तो उसका जो प्रोपोर्शनेट एक्सपोजर है उसका आपको क्या मेंटेन करना होगा? 100% ऑफ रिजर्व्स या प्रोविजनिंग मेंटेन करनी होगी. वो तो अलग है ना सैम, वो तो अलग है. व्हेन बैंक हैज गिवन लोन इन द स्टार्टिंग, वो जो लोन बैंक ने दिया होगा उसके बदले में तो बैंक ने प्रोविजनिंग अलग से रखी है. दैट इज समथिंग डिफरेंट which bank is doing as per the bank's day-to-day operations. उसका तो कुछ लेना देना ही नहीं है. That is the bank operation which bank is performing. I don't care who is the debtor. वो debtor कोई भी हो, bank has to maintain the provisioning. लेकिन if bank funds are invested in an alternative investment fund scheme and that investment fund scheme is investing back again in the debtor company, then in that particular case you will maintain a provisioning 100% proportionate exposure. You need to maintain the provisioning 100% value of your proportionate exposure. Is this point clear now? If it is clear, just give me yes sir. If it is clear, just give me yes sir. इसमें एक पॉइंट और ऐड कर देता हूं. वो अगला पॉइंट क्या है? अगला पॉइंट ये है कि सर अगर मान लो बैंक ने इन्वेस्टमेंट की है एक ऑल्टरनेटिव इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड स्कीम में, and this alternative investment fund scheme, it comes up with certain priority criterias. प्रायोरिटी क्राइटेरिया का मतलब क्या है सर? इसमें प्रायोरिटी दी गई है कि हु विल बी रिसीविंग द फंड्स ऑन फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी, हु विल बी रिसीविंग द फंड्स इन ऑन सेकंड प्रायोरिटी. सो इफ बैंक इज इन्वेस्टिंग इन एनी प्रायोरिटी specific or priority related alternative investment fund scheme. So whatever investment you are making, you have to deduct this investment amount from your capital, और कैपिटल में से टीयर 1 में से आधा, और आधा आपको कहां से डिडक्ट करना है, टीयर 2 से डिडक्ट करना है. व्हाट इज दिस? दिस इज बेसिकली reducing your capital, and if your capital is reduced, you need to increase your capital in order to fulfill your capital adequacy ratios and whatnot. So what does it say? It says that regulated entity, if investment is done in any alternative investment fund scheme with a priority distribution model, अगर आपकी alternative investment fund scheme में कोई priority distribution model है, then in that particular case full deduction, आपकी investment के बराबर का full deduction will be done from the regulated entity capital fund, equally from tier 1 as well as tier 2 capital. Got it guys? समझ आ गया? समझ आ गया? So earlier क्या condition थी? I'll just make you understand. Earlier ये condition थी. When RBI witnessed there was an evergreening of loan, so this was the old condition. अब इस ओल्ड कंडीशन की वजह से इंप्रूवमेंट हुई, और इस इंप्रूवमेंट की वजह से अब आई न्यू कंडीशंस, ये आप कहो न्यू गाइडलाइन, बट ये न्यू गाइडलाइन का क्या है? ड्राफ्ट है. और ये जो न्यू गाइडलाइंस हैं, ये न्यू गाइडलाइंस कौन सी हैं? दीज आर दी न्यू गाइडलाइंस, एंड दीज न्यू गाइडलाइंस they are applicable on which all banks? They are applicable on all the commercial banks, चाहे वो small finance bank है, local area bank है, regional rural bank है. It is applicable on all primary cooperative banks, urban cooperative banks, state cooperative bank, district cooperative bank, central cooperative bank. It is applicable on NABARD, Exim Bank, SEBI, NHB, NABFID, that is all India financial institutes, and even it is applicable on all the non-banking financial companies, even it is applicable on the housing finance companies. Clear? Got it? I hope जिसने मुझसे पूछा था कि पुरानी कौन सी और नई कौन सी है, मैंने दोनों रूल्स बता दिए, which one is older, which one is new. Last point is RBI may exempt, please pay attention, RBI may exempt certain alternative investment funds in consultation with government that have been set for strategic purposes. तो कुछ ऐसे alternative investment funds हैं जिनको RBI गवर्नमेंट के साथ कंसल्टेशन के बाद, कंसल्ट करने के बाद क्या कर सकता है? सेट असाइड कर सकता है. वहां पे ये जो लिमिट्स हैं ये एप्लीकेबल नहीं होंगी, ये कंडीशंस एप्लीकेबल नहीं होंगी. सो RBI will be looking after for the comments on this particular draft by 8th of June 2025. तो 8th of June तक public will be giving their comments. उन comments को देखने के बाद RBI will come up with the final guidelines. क्लियर हो गया पॉइंट? जिसको बिल्कुल समझ आ गया यस सर टाइप करो, जिसको नहीं समझ आया वो अपना डाउट पूछ लो, so that I can take your doubt right away. If you have any doubt you can ask please, so that I can take your doubt right away. Quickly guys. Done? I want everyone to reply please. Is it done? Shall I move ahead? Is it done everyone? Chalo. Thank you so much. Now let's move on to some of the easy news of the day. The next news we have is पेमेंट एग्रीगेटर का लाइसेंस आरबीआई ने प्रोवाइड किया. रिसेंटली आरबीआई has announced payment aggregator license to two authorities. You must know the names of those two authorities which can be asked in the examination. First is QuickPay and the second is, so one is QuickPay. QuickPay has received the license of or the approval to set up as payment aggregator by RBI, as well as Jaipur based company has also received the final authorization to operate as a payment aggregator. अब ये दो नाम तो आप याद कर लोगे, I know that. You can easily remember these two names, I know that. But I have one more question for you all, as I always have, जो मुझे दर्द हमेशा होता है, ये कि what is payment aggregator? So if you don't know, I'll just quickly explain you what is a payment aggregator. Guys, whenever this question is asked, what do you understand by a word payment aggregator? What will be my answer? My answer to this particular question is Sir, let's suppose there is a customer and this customer is purchasing goods from a merchant. Now there is a point, there is a time to make the payment. Now this merchant can accept payment only and only in the form of cash. पुराना जमाना तो यही था, लेकिन अब with the passage of time, digital transaction has got much importance, and now customers are coming and they ask this merchant, sir, will you accept card? Will you accept credit card? Will you accept debit card? Will you accept UPI? Will you accept maybe debit card or something like that? When these are problems were falling on the merchant, so what did merchant do? Merchant tied up with a payment aggregator. So payment aggregator act as a mediator between the customer and merchant. So what payment aggregator do? So payment aggregator provide options to the customer so that customer can make the payment. One option is you can pay using card, debit card or credit card. You can pay using your online banking information. That means you can use internet banking to make the payment, and even you can make the payment through UPI. So customer will choose either one. The moment customer will choose either one, then payment aggregator will receive the amount from the customer's bank. So what will happen? So payment aggregator will first receive the information. This information will flow to the customer's bank, and from the customer's bank amount will be debited and it will be credited into, from the customer bank amount will be debited and it will be credited into payment aggregator's account. Once it is credited into the payment aggregator's account, now this amount will be credited into the merchant's account. It will be credited into the merchant's account. तो इसका मतलब मर्चेंट ने जो पहले उसके पास अकाउंट था, उसी अकाउंट की मदद से आज अपनी सारी ट्रांजैक्शंस कंप्लीट करनी शुरू कर दी विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस पेमेंट एग्रीगेटर. सो पेमेंट एग्रीगेटर इज अ मीडिएटर व्हिच एक्ट एज अ मीडिएटर बिटवीन customer as well as merchant, where merchant will access or merchant will receive the funds directly into its bank account, and customer will get an option to make the payment through different modes, through different I would say platforms which are provided by the payment aggregator. So payment aggregator will first receive the information from the customer, authorization will be done. From that authorization, information will be transferred to the customer's account. From the customer's account, amount will be debited. That amount will be credited into payment aggregator's account, and then that amount will be credited to the merchant's account. This transaction or this entire flow is done by whom? So this is done by payment aggregator, and recently 2 companies, they have received the title to operate as a payment aggregator. Moving on to the next news. So the next news is related to collaboration. So there is a collaboration between Indian Postal Payment Bank, which is operating under Department of Post under the Ministry of Communication, has partnered with Aditya Birla Capital Limited. Aditya Birla Capital Limited, which is a prominent non-deposit taking NBFC in India, in order to expand the credit accessibility. We all know that Indian Postal Payment banks, they are not allowed to provide loan, but they have the customers. Now, if the customer of an Indian Postal Payment Bank wants to borrow a loan, now Indian Postal Payment Bank can provide a loan to the customer, not from its own funds, but those lending or that lending will be done under this collaboration, under this tie-up with the NBFC, which is known as Aditya Birla Company Limited. So याद रखिएगा, Indian Post Payment Bank has tied up with Aditya Birla Capital Limited, in order to provide loan facility to the customers of payment bank. Second collaboration is between Indus Ind Bank. So Indus Ind Bank has collaborated with Atal Innovation Center. It has collaborated with Atal Incubation Center. And under the Atal Incubation Center, there is a special purpose vehicle which is known as Software Technology Parks of India Next. So Software Technology Parks of India Next, with this particular special vehicle, this tie-up has been done. Again, this tie-up is important. Direct question can be asked in the phase 1 examinations. You can just download the PDF, read the news. It is a 1-marker news which can be asked in the examination. Last but not the least is State Bank of Mauritius, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of State Bank of Mauritius, which has been operating in India as a bank, has tied up with ICICI Prudential Life Insurance Company Limited, with ICICI Prudential Life Insurance Company Limited, and ICICI Prudential Life Insurance Company Limited is a joint venture of ICICI Bank and Prudential Corporation Holding Limited, and this collaboration is basically done. This collaboration is basically done in order to sell the insurance policies of ICICI Prudential Life Insurance Company to the customers of State Bank of Mauritius, which is operating in India. जब भी कभी, whenever a bank is selling, very important point guys, whenever a bank is selling the insurance services without providing those services from its own bucket, that means bank is not an insurance company. It is not providing the insurance facility from its own bucket. Rather, these insurance facilities are provided by some other insurance company, and this process is known as banca assurance. So whenever this question is asked, what do you understand by the word banca assurance, then your answer to this particular question would be, so whenever a bank becomes a platform to sell the insurance policies of an insurance company, what is the benefit? So bank will earn extra income. That is a benefit for the bank. What is the benefit for the insurance company? So insurance company will get a huge market to serve, because bank is something where we already have good amount of footfall, and whenever who is approaching the bank, he or she is already involved with the financial transactions. He or she is already thinking about the management of the finances. So bank will become a good platform for the insurance companies to sell its insurance policies. अब ऐसा तो insurance company वेजिटेबल मार्केट में जाकर भी अपने इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी बेच सकती है, लेकिन वेजिटेबल मार्केट में आप सोचकर गए हो, आई हैव टू परचेज वेजिटेबल, पोटैटो, अनियन, but when you are going to the bank, you have that mentality of finance management, and the moment you enter the bank, if someone gives you a chance to manage your finances which gives you a chance to manage your finances better, then obviously these kind of insurance policies are going to attract you. So whenever bank sell the insurance policies on the behalf of an insurance company, we call that as banca assurance. And many times there is a question asked on banca assurance, but very important point. In India, 3.7%, please pay attention, in India, insurance penetration stood at 3.7% in the financial year 2023-24, below the global average of 7%. So in India, the penetration is pretty less of the insurance services, of the insurance facilities in comparison to the global penetration. But if someone asks you about banca assurance, you must remember banca assurance basically means when banks, they are selling the insurance on the behalf of the insurance companies as an insurance agent, that is known as banca assurance. This concept was originated back in France. Overall, insurance companies 30%, इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज का जो 30% बिजनेस है वो कहां से आ रहा है? बैंका इंश्योरेंस के फॉर्मेट से आ रहा है। और ये जो बैंका इंश्योरेंस है, इट इज बेनिफिशियल फॉर बैंक एज वेल एज फॉर द इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज। इसमें 3 मॉडल्स हैं। पहला मॉडल है रेफरल मॉडल। रेफरल मॉडल का मतलब क्या हुआ? सब बैंक ने इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को स्पेस दे दी। बैंक हैज गिवन अ स्पेस टू द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी इन इट्स ब्रांच। उनको एक टेबल चेयर लगा के दे दी, और इंश्योरेंस के जो agents है, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के एम्प्लॉइज है, they are sitting in the bank's branch and they are asking if someone is coming to the bank, sir, do you want to purchase an insurance? Do you want to enjoy the insurance facility? They are themselves serving the customers. So that kind of model where bank only and only provides you the space, bank only and only provide you the access to its customers, against a fixed charge that is known as referral model. समझ आई ये बात? समझ आई ये बात? बैंक ने सिर्फ और सिर्फ आपको क्या दिया? एक प्लेटफॉर्म दिया that yes, you can approach my customer and against that approach I will be charging you a charge. चाहे उसको आप बैंक में ब्रांच में बैठने का चार्ज मान लो या फिर आप उसको डेटा शेयरिंग का चार्ज मान लो, it's up to you. Second type is corporate model. Corporate model means when bank tie up with only one life insurance company. When the bank tie up with only one life insurance company and general insurance company, where bank will be selling life insurance policies of only one company, bank will be selling the general insurance policies of only one company, that is known as corporate agent, which means bank will become the agent of the insurance company and bank will be selling the insurance policies as an agent of the company. Bank employees, they will be they will be inviting the customers, they will be explaining the insurance policies to the customers, they will be somehow managing to convince the customer so that the customer can purchase these insurance policy, and they will be earning, bank will be earning commission for every insurance policy which you are selling. That is known as corporate agent model. The third one is broker model. What is broker model? Sir, in case of broker model, bank has tied up with multiple insurance companies and bank is offering the multiple insurance facility to its customers. That is known as broker model. तो obvious ही बात है रेफरेंस मॉडल में बैंक का जो शेयर होगा, बैंक का आई वुड से द कमीशन दैट विल बी लोएस्ट, उससे ज्यादा कमीशन होगा ब्रोकर मॉडल में, बिकॉज हेयर बैंक इज इटसेल्फ सेलिंग द पॉलिसीज टू द कस्टमर, और सबसे ज्यादा जो बैंक का शेयर होगा, बैंक का अर्निंग होगी, दैट विल बी इन कॉर्पोरेट मॉडल, बिकॉज इन केस ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट मॉडल बैंक इज acting very sophisticated and bank is selling only and only one company's life insurance, only and only one company's health insurance or general insurance to its customers. समझ आ गई बात? क्लियर हो गया? Okay. So that will be all from my side guys. लेकिन जाते जाते एक इंफॉर्मेशन दे दूं. वो इंफॉर्मेशन क्या है? That information is basically related to the name update. So Northeast Small Finance Bank has now been updated as Slice Small Finance Bank. तो Northeast Small Finance Bank Limited को अब क्या कहा जाएगा? Sir, it will be termed as Slice Small Finance, because जो Slice FinTech है, it has overtaken or it has merged with Northeast Small Finance Bank, and that is the reason the name of Northeast Small Finance Bank has been renamed as Slice. Got it? So that will be all from my side guys in this particular session. I won't be able to discuss the revision questions today, but don't worry, we will be discussing these revision questions in the upcoming sessions to go. तो अगला जो सेशन होगा उसमें थोड़ा सा ज्यादा कर लेंगे सॉल्व रिवीजन क्वेश्चंस को, और आज की जो पीडीएफ है उसमें मैं ऐड भी कर दूंगा इन रिवीजन क्वेश्चंस को, so that you can follow it, and I'm pretty sure you are going to enjoy this discussion. But before I leave guys, if you want to download the PDF of this session, it will be available on my Telegram channel. तो यहाँ जाकर आप अपनी PDF को डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं. Guys, I don't know why the count of live student is falling down on regular basis. Maybe you guys are in a dilemma कि पता नहीं नोटिफिकेशन आएगी भी या नहीं आएगी, तो कब आएगी, कितनी वैकेंसीज आएंगी. I think you are not right. I would say this is not right at your part to think about all these things. For sure नोटिफिकेशन आएगी ही आएगी. कितनी भी वैकेंसीज हो, you need only one seat, you need only one vacancy. उससे तो ज्यादा वैकेंसीज आएंगी. So you just prepare really very hard so that you can clear the examination in this very attempt itself. Otherwise it will be quite late to clear this exam. So don't miss even a single day. It's good अगर notification delay है. I would say it's a positive sign for you all, because you are getting more time to revise, you are getting more time to cover your syllabus. But if you're still in a dilemma that whether you should prepare for this exam or not, or you should wait for the notification, then I would say seriously you are losing your chance to clear this exam in the very first attempt. Thank you so much for joining. We'll catch you in the next session. Bye bye. Good luck. God bless you all.